Hi, welcome to Very Thoughtful World. We are excited today because I have one of my favorite people in the world here with me today, and it is Miss Kelly Charles. I met Kelly when I lived in Beijing, and like when I tell you this woman is a star, and that she just lights
Aw.
up any room, and she's just so fun. She's so Australian, which is what I love about her. Like, just wait. And Kelly is doing some really cool, amazing things. She has a big heart for kids and she has an amazing voice. And so she has taken her gifts and her talents and she's using them to monetize her life and doing something awesome and great down in Dallas, Texas. So, Kelly, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for the lovely introduction.
Absolutely. You know, I absolutely adore you from the moment we met. Like, it was all bubblies and all that good stuff.
Well, I don't know if it was all bubbly. I was quite scared to meet you, and you certainly helped me through a lot of things that I needed to learn. So, forever grateful for you.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you. So tell the people about Kelly. Who is Kelly?
Well, Kelly is a girl from Australia that's married to a man from Australia who's taken me all over the world with his job. And I have three children. And before I was married, I was a singer. Well, I am a singer. And then when I got married and had kids, I sort of gave all that up. And then when my last child went to school, I didn't know what to do with myself. And then I had this kind of dream of maybe, you know, doing music and children. And then I think I met you, and the one thing that you told me that stuck with me to this day is that on the other side of fear is happiness. And then I began my tiny business of singing nursery rhymes to children in my lounge room that grew into this monster business in China. Um, yeah, and then I moved to Dallas and I started to do it again here. And then we had COVID, so I had to go back into my living room and sing online to kids because people needed joy still, of course. So, and then now I'm slowly starting to get going again in person, and it's getting momentum, but it's also growing and blossoming into different roads and ways that I don't even know how it's going to, manifest, but it's definitely moving again. So I
Wow.
love what I do. It's absolutely my purpose. So.
That is so cool. I want you to talk about the fear that at one point, like, because we all as entrepreneurs, right? And just as women, we all
Yeah.
have these fears and these self-doubts, and we tell ourselves what we can and can't do. Kelly, how did you get over it? What made you say, you know what, the heck with it, I'm gonna do it?
Well, I remember when we had our sessions and you told me that really stuck with me because I know that I can sing and I know that I love kids. And so I remember, okay, I'm gonna post this thing on WeChat, the social media platform in China, to the women in the compound that I lived in. Come to my house at this time, bring your child, and we'll do this class. No money. So I did that. And then I remember these tiny little people came into my lounge room and I sat there and I was so terrified of these 2 and 3 year olds just to sing, Mary Had a Little Lamb. The fear was so intense. And it was almost like, if you can describe it, like just this really dark cloud of
Mhm.
fear all over your body. But if you push yourself like through that wall of fear, then on the other side everything's magical and golden. And I think, I mean, even for me now, like I want to have a YouTube channel. It's not necessarily I want to, but I feel like it's something that I need to do to grow, to connect to more people and more children, and eventually have these massive stadium live shows. It's something that I would love to do, but I can't get through that block. I'm afraid that I don't know how to do that. I'm not technical. I don't know how to put this together. I don't know how to edit. I don't know. I can't. And that's a block for me at the moment. But I do TikTok. I do Facebook Live. I do, I can sing in front of children with my eyes closed. But there's something about this is my new fear at the moment that I'm trying to work through. Why do I have this? What is it about? So I think in life, that's how you grow is whenever you have a fear, if you can go through that,
Yeah.
that's how you grow. So,
Absolutely. And I think it's hilarious because I'm very transparent. I'll share with the audience, Kelly, how how funny it was for us to just get started today because I'm also like physically challenged, right? But I'm
Yes, me
also
too.
yeah, and it's okay. But I'm also learning, as scary as it can be, sometimes you hire to your weakness.
Yeah,
As
absolutely.
business owners, you just say, you know what, I suck at this. Like I suck at anything with my website. So recently I reached out to some people about my website and they're like, your SEO is a hot mess and it's all over the place. And I'm going, that's possible. Because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to
Yeah.
pay someone to get it right. Pay people who do what they do well. And so I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
exactly.
to your YouTube channel because, you just, here's what's cool. Now you can hire people from all over the world because you
Yeah,
got five,
exactly.
right? Two, you got these teenagers who are way smarter than we are.
Well, that's like my daughter. She's amazing at editing. Like she's like, oh, mom, why do I have to do that? And I'm like, I'll pay you. Oh, so embarrassing. So yeah,
Yeah, I've learned that my children are the worst employees.
yeah, exactly, because they expect everything for free. So
Yeah, well, like, so Bryson can do really good work when he has time. But Kelly, the moment that child has anything that comes up,
bye.
yeah, I'm like, but I've already paid you. You have to do. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get to it, mom. But Bryson, you can't take new clients and
Yeah,
haven't paid you. Well, with Brianna, well, EJ, she will say, "I'll write your emails." I'm like, Where's my email? Oh yeah, I didn't feel like doing
yeah, I know. I know.
So yeah. So the good thing is like where I live, there is a university, and you're in Dallas, and I've actually reached out there to get me an intern, and I'm gonna actually pay my intern. I know a lot of people get students because they need interns and they use them for free, but I'm gonna pay them. I want to get even I might can't pay them a minimum wage, but I'm gonna pay them.
Mm. Yeah,
So that's a
yeah.
source. That's the source for us small time business owners who can't depend on our intelligent children who are capable of doing it but won't show up for us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Kelly, one of the things I love to talk about, and I believe we all have it, is what I call our superpower. It is the thing that makes us uniquely us. It is what makes you shine. What is your superpower?
Oh, well, my superpower, I think, would be my ability to connect with kids. I love the innocence of a child. I love children's imagination, and I love to be able to like ask a child, "How was your day at kindergarten today?" And then they'll just go into this of thing. And if you can not stop that, like just allow them to tell you the story, and you can kind of pull out their imagination more and more. It's just limitless. It's beautiful. And I
Right.
think that, a lot of adults, I mean, as parents, we know, don't say that, don't do that, don't do this. But to a child, like, there's no limits. So I love the way that children see the world. I love the way they see endless possibilities. I mean, I understand that you can't, as a mother, that's not okay. But for me, as a performer, as a music, I mean, I say I'm a music teacher, but I'm really a teacher of joy. Like I
Oh
don't
wow.
teach scales or how to do this. I just, let's have fun and let's just, be wild for half an hour. Um, yeah, I think that's definitely my superpower is my ability to connect with children. And also, I try really hard to be like authentic. I don't really like um, to go about my life in a way that like social norms, or I like to dress kind of eccentric, or I guess I just like to sort of be a little bit different in life as well.
Yeah. I bet that make the kids feel comfortable around you, though, because they
Well,
don't see.
exactly. Yeah. Like the other day, I came to the class dressed up as a fairy just because I just felt like it. And the teacher was, because I work in Dallas in a place called Annie's Place. It's in between the two big hospitals. It's
Okay.
for women that can't afford care. And so, also, a lot of what I do is I really am drawn to children that don't have opportunity. So that really fills my cup up. And also, I think that my work is a lot about healing myself. And I
Mhm.
actually only realized that quite recently. Is one of the classes that I do where I live is at a park, and there was only two kids, and I was like, oh, I really don't want to work today. I don't want to sing. I don't want to show up. But when I went there, I was like, after the class, I realized that it's so much more about me than it is about the kids, because it helps me to, feel better. To We all have mother or father wounds, to get over them and just to go about my life in a more kind of well-rounded way. So I think
Yeah,
learning that about myself too is really helpful to understand why I do what I do.
I love it. And I think what that is whenever we move in our purpose,
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
people so often we make things hard and complicated, right?
Mm,
As a coach, I get clients, they're like, I don't know my purpose. I don't know my purpose. And then when we do the work and we begin to talk about the purpose, right? It seems too easy. So some people are like, oh, that
yeah.
can't. And a lot of times the main thing, the indicator that you're operating your purpose is simply joy,
Yeah. Yeah. And
overflow.
that another
That,
thing is that when after COVID, like with in the first year of it, I mean, it's still going on, but the first year, I was like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. But the universe kept showing me like music class, music class, music class. And I was like, oh, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to do this. But no matter which way I turn, it just keeps coming, coming, coming at me. So I know that, whether I sing for 3 kids or 5 kids or 50 million kids, that's my purpose. And I'm living my soul's purpose, whether that is what it is, no matter what level I do it at. That's absolutely it, because it lights me up. And when I do that, I mean, I literally jump around like a goose for a little small moment with children, but then I always come away skipping to my car because I'm full. I feel great. So
yeah, I love
yeah,
it. I love it.
yeah,
What would you suggest? I know while you're doing this kind of work and being new to Dallas, I know that you met new women and new people. What do you suggest to women? Because I find, because I'm new here, I've been in Rocky Mountain now for 2 years. I keep saying I'm new. I guess after 2 years, you're not new. but, but
yeah,
like I tell people, COVID didn't count. A whole year of being stuck in the house by yourself doesn't count. But I do
mm,
meet people who, a lot of times, it's like as we get older, you stop dreaming, or they settle into these kind of roles of, I'm just waiting to retire. But then there's no joy.
mm.
They're like,
I feel the complete opposite. I feel like since I turned 50, that you know how people say life starts at 50? I feel that so strongly. Like, I feel like now that my kids are, I mean, I still have my little guy, but as my kids grow up, like, oh, wow, it's time for me. Like, it's time for Kelly. Like, life is starting. And I feel like this part of my life is going to be the golden part of my life. And I feel so, I don't think that you can really give up on yourself until your last breath. I think there's so much pressure on women that, we have to look a certain way, we have to behave a certain way, we have to dress a certain way. But I actually think the that we can be anything at any time, at any age, any shape, any color, any sexuality, anything. Like, and I think that if I truly believe that the future of this planet is female, and that if we can come across not necessarily female the gender, but female the energy. If we can be more humble, be more genuine, more kind, like as a whole, as a collective, what a wonderful place we'll live in. That's what I hope and truly believe. And I want to be a part of that movement. So yes.
well, my heart feels so full right now. And
But
when
don't
you
you think,
see,
like, look at the way the world is? It's a disaster run by men. Like, where are the women? Let's go. Come on.
yeah, I totally agree with you, Kelly. And I pray that we get to a point in a position in life where, what as women, we show up. Like we show up our
Absolutely.
just our bold. So my words this year is bold and audacious. So people are going to get tired of hearing me say those two words. But I want women to show up, because what's happening is, like you said, we know how to move, we know how to be kind, we know how to be loving. And even a lot of times in corporate America, I worked for corporate for years, we have to put on that tough exterior
Mm,
that doesn't feel comfortable to us, but we're trying to, protect ourselves, and we got to be strong. But strength can show up in other ways. Strength can
absolutely.
show up in being like sensitive and caring and compassionate. That's
Mm,
strength. And I believe in that kind of environment, you pull out the best in people.
yeah,
And I think just
yeah.
because we're women, we definitely have it in us to do that.
Mm.
But I'm just full
Yes, ma'am.
teacher of joy. That's what I'm gonna call you from now on.
I know sometimes people say, "What do you do? Teach?" I'm a music teacher. I'm like, "No, I'm not. What am I talking about? A music teacher? I'm a lunatic." Oh.
So how many classes are you offering now?
I do 3 classes a week, and I am just about to do another one. So that's 4.
Yeah.
And then I have my magical YouTube not happening channel that hopefully will happen by some miracle.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I want to do live shows. I'd like to write a book. Like, I have a zillion things happening in my brain that I want to happen. So, but then I have faith it will happen. So,
I think it will
slowly,
happen.
one day at a time.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. How did you starting to move in your purpose and doing this thing that light up your world? How did it affect your relationships with the kids and even with your husband? Did you find that those relationships bloom even more because now
Oh,
you found your place?
especially with my husband. I mean, I really noticed in China that when I started to work and earn money there, that I felt like, I think before that, when I wasn't, earning money, I mean, as a mother, you're still 24 hours a day, 7 days working,
Yeah.
but nobody pays you for it. Um, and I think that when I could sort of take the focus off, oh, my husband, my husband, my husband, that we were so much happier because I wasn't thinking about him all the time. I was thinking about, oh, what songs am I going to sing? What am I going to do? Like, I had my own life, and
Mm,
that definitely made the marriage. I mean, we've always been great together, but it just was more equal, if you like.
yeah.
So, but even now, I think that, like, I mean, for me, for our family, COVID was like a 360 change. Like, I before was, we like to joke that I was a highly paid single parent because he was traveling for work all the
Oh,
time, and then all of a sudden, husband and 3 kids are home, and I'm homeschooling, and it was like, oh, I want to get off. Like, I would go to the supermarket car park and sit and pretend I was shopping because I couldn't stand the family anymore. It's
I love
awful.
it.
So, yeah, but now, like, I mean, my son is having the best parenting because his dad is still, he works at home because people just didn't go back to work. I mean, I think that COVID was a blessing in disguise, honestly. It's like a shake up of the planet.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's all about like what you choose to focus on when we was in those situations. The thing with me when I think about COVID is Kelly, because when I was in China, a lot of times I felt isolated. And
Mm,
I would have bouts of loneliness, but I would just be in my apartment working, trying to think of the next mastermind thing I could come up with, right? So when
yeah.
I got home, I happened to be working on my master's degree. So nothing really changed for me other than the
Mm,
difference between doing it in China and doing it in North Carolina. And so when all
yeah.
people were going through this major, oh my God, my family is always here. I'm like, well, that's kind of what we've been doing for Andre. Our family, it's been the 4 of us for 10 years. And we was used to being around each other. The hardest part when we first started was we was living in my mom's house. So
Mm,
imagine 4 additional people in a 3-bedroom house that
mm,
was like we right.
yeah.
That was hard. And Bryson, it was really hard for him because he is an introvert and he needs his own space, and he didn't have it there.
Yeah.
Those-
That's one of the things for us too, was that our middle daughter, she needs people like me. And she really struggled with not being able to connect with her friends and be in a class with a teacher. Like, that was really a struggle for her. So when the schools opened up, and we were so lucky here in Dallas, so they opened up much quicker than the rest of the country, she
yeah,
just went, and it wasn't a lovely experience, but she needed that. So
yeah. Yeah, we
yeah.
went through that. We was trying to actually accelerate getting EJ into college early just so she could be around people because she's much like that too. She needs the energy of other people, and she's very
Absolutely.
depressed. But
Yeah,
thank
me
God
too.
made it through. We made it through COVID.
Yeah.
Even though, we know that it's still floating around. So do you
Yeah.
have any set goals for yourself through, in with your family life, your business life for 2023, or are you like just let it flow type?
I have definitely have some goals, but I'm definitely letting it flow. So I would say both. Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
was
one thing that I'm really working on this year for myself personally is that I I'm really stepping away from the blame game. Like I am not a victim. I am in control of my own life. I'm the creator of my life. Like I think for so long, like I blamed everyone and everything and all that sort of for how life went. But I just feel that there's so much power in being responsible for everything that happens and that you do. So that's something I'm personally working on this year.
So what do you that just reminded me of the book. I don't have it in this room with me. I think it's downstairs. It's
Mm.
called it's Jack Canfield. I think it's called How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And the right in the beginning of the book, Kelly, he says that is it. He says, until you learn to take full responsibility for your life, nothing really changes. He's like, but you
Mm.
have it in you to design,
Mm.
like design your destiny to create it. It's such a great book. What are the
Mm.
books or podcasts or audios that you
Oh, we
listen
talked about
to?
this. Well, I can't read books. I buy books all the time, but I can't. My brain doesn't sit down and read books. But I do listen to podcasts when I drive to work. And there's three podcasts that I like. I love Mel Robbins,
Okay.
and I like another podcast called Know Thyself. The guy's called Andre Ducum, I think his surname is. And then there's another podcast called Deja Blue, and that's this lady, kind of spiritual lady. Her name is Blue Earth. I just adore her. She has these different people on, and they talk about spirituality, and yeah, it's really cool.
All right. Well, you have given me three things to check out because I like Mel. I never really listened to her podcast, but I will, YouTube her sometime or catch some of her
Mm.
little snippets. I like her a lot.
I really like her authenticity. She's so, sometimes she's like, I didn't want to get out of bed, or I didn't want to do this, and it's like, yeah, I get that.
And I think that's the part I want people to really get and to understand. I have some friends who are phenomenal women, but they won't get started because they're waiting for it to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And that's the thing too, is that last year I really learned that, like, I struggle with showing up. I'm very actually at my true core, I'm quite lazy. And so showing up, like every time I'm about to go to work, my inner mean lady, she's like, don't go to work, you don't need to do that, stay at home, stay in your bed, eat chips. But when I'm like, no, I gotta go. So that's like a constant loop that's happening in my head. But
Yeah.
I think showing up is so important and so fulfilling.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love that you spoke to the inner loop in your head. Like a lot of times we think that because our mind said, then we must do it.
Mm.
Trying to get people to understand that we're constantly at battle
Oh
and it's
yes, we're,
normal.
we're constantly in battle.
And it's
Yeah.
normal. And it's not that there's something wrong with you and you don't understand,
No.
Kanisha, because I hear these voices. We do too.
Yep. They're
It's just,
there. She's
yeah.
there, loud and clear.
And sometimes I have to be like, if you don't leave me alone and shut the hell up, like leave me alone.
Yeah.
I get aggressive with that voice because I know that if I don't, it would get aggressive with me.
Mm, mm.
And it'll hold us back. And that's another message that I'm trying to get women to see. Kelly, when I tell you I meet so many women that are so talented, they're giving away their gifts. You know what I mean? Like they're financially struggling, but then they'll say things like, "Well, I don't want to charge for that." And I'm going, it's one thing if you have abundance and you don't want to charge. It's another thing if you need to pay a bill and
Yeah.
you won't charge for the very thing that me, I'm a God girl. I believe that God give us so that we can earn income.
Mm.
So I am super excited for you.
Thank
Like I'm
you.
happy to see you blooming. So for those of you guys, I think Kelly is okay with this because she's mentioned when we first met. Kelly, remember you said, what'd you tell me?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Am I going to be regretful of this? I have no idea.
Something about how you was like, I was sitting on the couch. Because I came the first session we had, I came to your house, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
And you
just
was
remember
on,
you were so tall. I was like, oh my god, you're so tall.
but I'm just excited about like who you are now and how
Thank
you
you.
took the journey. You started, and like I try to tell people, you're not gonna get there in the 12 weeks that you might work with me, but the tools, right?
Mm,
The shift, the waking up to what's possible, to
yeah,
getting in that mind shift of I remember the one of the lessons you did, and you said, I didn't know I had so many negative thoughts. You remember that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So the awareness of it.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I just wish I could come down and see those babies in those classrooms with Miss Kelly. What do they call you
Yeah, they can call me Miss Kelly. Oh,
now?
because Dallas, ma'am. But I really don't like ma'am. But yeah, they call me Miss Kelly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything you want to share with the people before you get off?
No, just thank you so much for having me, and it was so lovely to talk to you again.
Yeah, I miss you. I miss our talks and our laughs together. I've always enjoyed laughing with you.
Yeah, miss old China. Really miss living in China. Actually, I mean, I wouldn't want to live there for all the money in the world at the moment, but I
Yeah.
certainly miss China.
I miss
Yeah,
some of the convenience of China, but I don't miss the
pollution.
yeah, like China was it was quite a challenge. The fact that we survived for 7 years is amazing to me. But it was a blessing to our family in a way.
Mm,
And it was really hard on EJ, Brianna. I say Brianna because I'm like, some people are not going to know who EJ is. So EJ is her preferred name now. And
mm.
I tried to honor her with that. But it was very hard on her, but fairly good for Bryson. Bryson is in London, and he's like, Mom, you remember this person? He's hanging out with all his friends from China in London.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's
That's like
very
Harmony found some people because she goes to University of Texas Austin, and she was like, "Oh, I met this girl from WAB and at the campus," and I was like, "Wow, what a small world!
it is. It is.
Such a
And
small
it's
world."
amazing that our babies get to think internationally.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that. Yeah, that's the biggest gift I think for our kids. I
Yeah.
mean, Harmony's minoring. She's almost finished her minor in Chinese, and Matisse is doing that at high school, and then as also when she goes to college. So I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. So we have a lot to be proud of, Kelly, and we gave our time to our babies. We've grown up some pretty remarkable kids that even though they look crazy and they drive us crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love what you said about being 50. Like this is the best time. This is not time to be. I have so many people like, girl, I'm gonna retire. I'm like, what are you gonna do when you retire?
No,
I'm
I
like,
think
no,
COVID was
let's
the
get this
retire.
started.
I said to my husband, "We've been retired now. You've done that. There'll be no retiring."
Right. So I just want you to keep being the teacher of joy that you are from now on. That is how I'm going to always think of you, the teacher of joy. I love that title. I love that title. And keep
Yeah.
bringing joy to the world and joy to these babies because they have so much that they're facing. And so the fact that they get to hang out with Miss Kelly, I'm happy
Mm.
for them.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So thank you guys for tuning in to Very Thoughtful Podcast. I'm so excited that you took the time to watch. I'm happy that you joined us. And listen, if you are a phenomenal woman on the other side of this podcast and you're thinking to yourself, I want to be on, come on, let me know. Just inbox me, send me an email, go to my website, verythoughtfullife.com, and join us for this fun time. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.